Oh, hello, friend. Come, join us by the fire. The story's about to begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fireside Dice. I am your narrator whenever you're listening to this, Jens Anderson. And joining me today is our lovely cast and peoples, starting with...
Hi, I'm Emma, and I play Leven, the merfolk monk.
Hi, this is Josh, and I play Bafuur, the fighter dwarf.
Hi, this is Riley, and I play Suri, the warlock.
And I am Skyler, playing the vampire rogue Erasmus.
And speaking of vampires, we're in the Hall of a Vampire Lord. But rather than having me tell everyone about that, I'll have Emma do that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Last episode, we did a few things. A lot of them centered around the Maurer estate, the castle, so to speak. We began by preparing to go to the castle, and a lot of the preparation that we did consisted of a conversation between us and our new ally, Erasmus, where he called the party useless and bad at their job. And then he went off to do it himself in a proper sulk.
And failed spectacularly.
We don't need to talk about that, though.
I'm doing the recap. I'm doing it. Anyways, he failed miserably. He saw the castle and a window with maybe someone in it. Who knows? Could have been a bird. Could have been a sheep. He don't know. We fast-tracked travel and went directly to the castle and entered. We weren't met with anyone at the door, and so we did a little bit of exploration throughout. We did find essentially Strefan's throne room and a secret passage behind it. Ultimately, everything culminated in an almost epic, I would qualify it as a near epic battle between us and the vampire twins and their associate, Alexander. We managed to defeat them quite thoroughly, except for Alexander. He is a loose end because Suri let him go. And Skyler and I definitely didn't meta and say, insight. But Riley chose to play to his character and didn't roll insight.
Which we're not judging him for.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm judging myself in this moment because I just had the urge.
I was also thinking, what would Bart do?
Aww.
That's the second time.
And that's where we're at. Did I miss anything?
I think that you've got it in one.
I think that's all of it.
Excellent. Welcome back to Fireside Dice.
Hey, that's my line.
Well, I wanted to say it today.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, with that, the group is currently scattered along this staircase. We have Suri's father currently forming a dreadful visage up behind her.
Can we get more of a refresh on what this corridor looks like?
So, the corridor itself is a 10-foot wide, dusty, cobweb-filled space. And you guys ended up finding and fighting on a spiral staircase that led both up from that position and down from it. You guys started heading upwards because that seems to be where, well, at least the twins were going to. Alexander started to try and flank and fled down the stairs. At this point, both of the twins are dead. Bafuur, I believe, is still on the landing of the floor, with Suri very close by. No, you guys pursued. You guys both went up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a jut in the wall that doesn't quite block the staircase completely. That Leven, in an amazing move, made a wall that covered half the staircase and, really cordoned off and tried to contain these vampire twins. So we have a trio of Erasmus, Bafuur, and Suri currently just below that, and Leven almost at what looks to be the top of the stairs. You can see some peeking of light coming down the stairwell.
Okay. So I can't actually see around the corner, but I can see that light coming through.
Hmm.
Okay. I am going to stealthily approach the mouth of this stairway, not actually entering into the doorway, just trying to peek around the corner to see if I can see what's there.
Okay, so go ahead, roll me a stealth check. Do not forget that you still have Pass Without a Trace active, so that'll grant you an additional plus 10 to your roll.
I would love to do that. Thank you. It's only a 22.
As you peek up the stairs, you see a shadow start to cut across the light that's coming down, and very carefully peek your way around, and you see a face at the top of the stairs that you have not seen in quite some time, since Irina was captured very early on. And you can see that she's got her sword out and has this look of trepidation as she's like, "Is everyone okay down there?"
Looking at her, how does she look? What physical condition is she in?
Roll an insight check. Actually, let's make this a perception check, because this is looking at her physical condition, not her current allegiance.
That's an 18.
She seems to be in at least decent physical health. There's been a change within her. She doesn't seem like she's been very well taken care of.
I mean...
So she's as good as can be expected for living in the hall of a vampire lord.
Okay. And you said she had an arm kind of on the sword, right? I feel like Leven would be able to intuit that Irina isn't necessarily on their side because she's taking defensive actions, it seems, in response to the cries from like Ruby and Carmine. Is that correct? Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to roll.
I'll make that a lower DC. That's a very good rationale.
19.
19. You can tell that not only is she seem to be in league with the vampires, but that she's not doing so of her own will. There's something underneath the surface, but you can't quite gather as to what that potential conflict could be.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do something. You guys can get mad at me later if you want to. I am going to use, I believe it's going to be 2 key points to cast Silence, centered on Irina.
Okay.
And Leven is going to go up and grab her and pull her down with her. I'm assuming it'll be contested.
Yes.
But it's like clapping a hand over Irina's mouth, still, even with Silence in place. It's a 10.
Which beats her natural 1.
Oof.
Yes! Okay.
So,
okay.
the rest of you that are down below, you hear someone calling down the stairs, and Bafuur and Suri would recognize the voice of Irina. Erasmus wouldn't. They would hear "Is everything okay? Are we all right?" And then silence as Leven goes, dashes around, and grabs Irina. And there's very little resistance to this, which seems odd because she's supposed to be in league with the vampires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that there's little to no resistance, that her hand leaves the hilt of her sword and isn't coming up in a trying to get herself free. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Leven is not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, and she's immediately going to start pulling Irina back down to where everyone else is. Again, just trying to keep a handle on the situation.
And as you start dragging her down, if anything, if there's any level of resistance, it's just Irina going ragdoll. Just fully collapsing, almost like she's letting herself melt in barely an attempt to try and get out of this.
Out of curiosity, is she still wearing that armor we saw her in when we first met her?
No, actually.
What is she wearing?
Little more than nightclothes. It's like she's got a robe over the top. Seems as though people awoke her to bring her with them.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, still dragging her down towards the others with her, like, dead weight, which gets, like, slippy, you know. I mean, Leven holds on, but it's like, ugh.
And do the rest of you want to start going up the stairs towards Leven?
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
the minute Erasmus heard Irina's initial statement, he was moving up the stairs, sword ready, assuming there was another witness that had to be dealt with.
So coming up, you guys, the trio that is running up the stairs gets to the point where they hit the silence and then they pop back out of it. Whereas Leven comes and drags Irina slowly out of it, and you guys are just past the first bend of the stairs, past where you can peek up and see. You can see the light beaming in, and Leven is dragging what appears to be a human.
Who is this and why are we bothering with them?
Leven is going to... She looks conflicted, and she's just going to default look like Suri and Bafuur to see if they have a better explanation than what she can provide.
I think Suri's a little bit unsure, probably, because she only saw Irina for a brief bit before y'all went on that adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Bafuur will speak up and just say, she is the other part of our mission. We were entrusted with getting her back to her home safely.
Erasmus just, squints his eyes at Bafuur, looks at Irina. Really? This is what you feel is most important right now?
She's Maurer's betrothed, if you will.
All the more reason to be rid of her.
Shh, let me finish. As I was saying, but she was here unwillingly. We could use her as bait, but she will be let free at the end of all of this, and she will survive. Am I understood? And she's just staring down Erasmus. Still has a hand over Irina's mouth.
And the trio, you three can see that Irina at this point appears to be passed out.
I mean, I wasn't trying to choke her, but...
No, it seems as though maybe it's the shock, maybe it's something else that's going on, but there appears to be, like you saw previously, some level of conflict going on.
Is she stable? Her breathing is steady?
Yeah, you can still feel breath coming onto your hand, but it appears that breath is slow and even, and as though she is not conscious.
You know what? That's really the best outcome of this situation. I'm going to remove my hand from her mouth, still holding her.
Erasmus glares at Leven, which, to her, you see Bartholomew glaring daggers at you. And he just says, I won't harm her, but I will not risk myself or the mission to help her.
Then don't. She's our responsibility.
What from where we are, what can Erasmus see of the next level?
You aren't quite able to see around this pillar. If you would like to go up the stairs, then you can see what's on the upper area.
And he knew that the silence was cast, right?
Yes.
He's not going to say another word, and he's going to stealthily creep up the stairs to start scoping out the next leg of their journey.
Roll a stealth check for me.
Alright. 34.
You go up to the top of the stairs, and you can see that you are on the outside battlements of the central tower.
Okay.
So the spires of Maurer Estate are still looming up above you, and as you look, you can see that courtyard that you initially scouted out. You are currently on the southern side of the castle.
Does this higher vantage point, can he glean any new information on the upper portions of the castle to try and figure out a better idea of where the study might be?
Roll a perception check for me.
22.
From your experience with infiltration into more than likely the Izzet League and their facilities, or the Orsov Syndicate, there's a variety of different types of architecture. Maurer Estate appears to be more in line with, I think that the closest that you would have would be the Izzet League, and they were more chaotic than anything else. So you eliminate that from your mind. The Orsov Syndicate, their most precious things would be as far within as they could be. something that is not obvious, something that is difficult to get into.
Okay.
And so, to you, here that says either the spires or far down underground, with another potential option being in the very center of the castle itself.
We know as a group from what Bartholomew said that the study is up.
Mm-hmm.
So Erasmus is going to conclude that it's going to be in one of the spires. And as best he can from this position, he's going to just sort of create a mental map of what's the best route that we can follow to get up to the spires. And then once he's got that kind of cataloged in his mind, he's going to start making his way back to the group to report.
The other three of you, is there anything that you're going to do? You have Irina here with you as Erasmus is going up and making these mental notes.
Bafuur's going to silver his axe.
Good choice.
What do we do with her? And Leven's just going to motion to limp Irina.
We may want to take her with us just in case we have to get out of here quickly. She will get in the way, though.
We don't know that there's a spell on her, right? Did Bart relay that information?
She's clearly fighting something.
If I were to take a guess, charms are very common among vampires. It could seem she may be under a spell.
Can you remove it?
I don't have anything within my own powers to remove it. If you give me some time, I can identify exactly what it is.
How long would that take?
10 minutes, I think.
Leven will nod. Start it, and if you can, hasten it so it's completed before the other leech comes back.
And it's just as you're saying that Erasmus comes back down.
That sigh was in character.
Did he hear the leech comment?
I think that he was in the area of silence, and so...
Okay.
Suri will just kneel down by Irina and begin ritual casting detect magic.
So Erasmus, you come back, and their duty is to the person that they've said is in their charge is still here. And it looks like Suri is getting down, pulling out a book, and is about to start drawing a magic circle on the ground. And you know that this sort of stuff takes time.
What are we doing?
Seeing if we can create another ally.
How long will this take?
Approximately 10 minutes.
Bartholomew's features harden, but he doesn't say anything. He's gonna go scout it out the way ahead. My assumption, based on the structure of this castle and the experiences we've had throughout it so far, our target is going to be in one of the spires. I have an idea of a route that we can follow that will likely get us to where we need to go quickly. When you are all ready. And he's going to backtrack back into the silence and find an alcove where he can hide.
Okay. Any other actions that we want to take as Suri is ritually casting?
Leven will basically keep watch to try and listen as much as she can listen with silence up, but she wants to keep it up. Listen to hear if anybody's coming or detects anything, whatnot. An eye out for danger, basically.
Okay. Josh, anything that Bafuur's doing during this 10 minutes?
Just finishing up silvering his axe and keeping watch.
Okay. Considering that everyone is keeping watch except for Suri, Riley, would you roll me a d20, please?
Yep. 19. Those are rolling good today.
Why are you laughing?
Because that allows for a random encounter.
Uh-oh.
Erasmus, you see it first.
Okay.
You ended up going all the way up to the outside, and there's a small corner. The banister out here is almost like a curtain wall of the castle itself. It's a battlement that goes around the castle itself, and it leads... There's a section of this battlement that goes along the wall that's between this and the curtain wall, and there's a little alcove that you can get into. between those two sets of battlements. And you see, initially, you're looking up at the spires, and one of the windows on this floor opens up. And Strefan Maurer floats out to see you all.
Erasmus is gonna maintain his hidden spot and just watch Maurer.
Okay. We are not yet at the point of initiative, but Strefan Maurer completely passes you by, and he's following the route that he sent his followers down, touches ground, and starts walking down the stairs. So I want for Emma and Josh, if you two would roll perception checks for me. And this is just before Suri finishes her spell.
It's a 19 from Bafuur.
It
Okay.
is exactly the same for Leven.
The two of you do not seem to notice until, as he is coming down the stairs, unless Erasmus, you have any actions that you'd like to take.
He messages Leven and says, Maurer is coming.
And you have just barely enough time for a single action before he turns the corner on you.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. He's gonna know we're here no matter what. So just completely reflexively, once again, so is there like an open roof above us?
No, you guys are in the spiral stair.
Okay, we're still in the stairwell. Okay. This isn't gonna do much, but just... This is what she would do on reflex. Is going to cast darkness, once again using key points, trying to obscure us so she can shuffle them out of here as fast as possible.
So you're going to do it directly over your group or up ahead where Strefan Maurer is?
Directly over our group. And Levin's going to just pick up Irina and stop casting. Tells that to Suri, and... Oh, gosh. I'm gonna roll a dice.
Okay.
Odds or evens, y'all?
Odds.
I was gonna say odd too.
Okay.
Odds, she runs she gestures for them to run all the way down the stairs. Evens, she motions for them to run down the hallway. That is an odd. She's gonna pick Irina up, tell Suri to stop casting. Do we still have Pass Without a Trace up?
Yes.
Yeah, if we're booking it out of here, I think Suri would also try to cover up as much of the ritual cast as she could, kind of hastily.
So go ahead. Yeah, we can roll stealth at regular.
Okay,
Bafuur at disadvantage due to his armor.
Yep.
but you have the plus
But
10.
we do have that plus 10.
Oh, it's too bad too, because I had a 20.
And Leven, did you cast darkness up ahead of you? Up at the top
Yes.
of the stairs? Okay, I just wanted
Yes,
to make
just in
certain of
case.
that.
Yeah, just in case he sees our tail ends. I don't want him to see us at all.
Okay.
Leven rolled a 29.
22 for Bafuur.
Very good for you.
I rolled a 9, but that's without Pass Without a Trace.
So 19.
Okay.
And going down the
Going-
stairwell.
So we're going all the way down? Is that what we're doing?
I want to go past that landing down further.
Okay.
And this may all be for nothing, but this is what she would do in the moment.
Well, it's interesting that you're going down, because as you are going down, you hear someone making the way up the stairs towards you.
Are you kidding me? Tense!
What can I say? This could very well be the finale.
We're in the end game now.
As coming up the stairs, you see Alexander. He says, "You didn't think I was gone forever, was I?"
Levin's gonna turn to Suri. You let him go?
The first thing that happens is that Lord Strefan Maurer, he causes all of the windows on the upper floor, some of them were open, to close quite suddenly. And he says, "I have you now," as he proceeds to make his way down the stairs, going carefully through that darkness. Bafuur, you're up first. Suri, you're next.
Can I see Maurer?
No, he is currently up the stairs from where you're at by probably 2 or 3 levels.
Or is the group in the act of still running down the stairs?
Yes, currently. However, your escape has been blocked by Alexander.
Okay. Yeah, Bafuur's just gonna go ahead and lunge at him and go for 2 strikes, Great Weapon Master.
Okay.
1 out of the 2 hits.
Sadly, even though he was very hurt when you last saw him, it seems as though all of his wounds have healed.
Dang.
But you thinking that you should have been able to kill him based off of where you last saw him are a little bit surprised. With that, Suri, it's you.
Suri being betrayed like this, she'll just, after this discovery, she'll just say, I let you live, I trusted you, and you still betrayed me. And she will fire 2 Eldritch Blasts at him. And if she can, she's gonna push him back as far as she can with him.
Suri, considering that you feel this immense level of betrayal, we're going to call that 19 a critical.
Ooh.
Leven, you're up next.
She's gonna, almost simultaneously drop Irina and grab her spear and make 2 rapid attacks at Alexander. So the first one hit for 9 piercing damage. The other one was a nat 1.
The way that he deflects your spear on that second attack has it stabbing into Irina. I want you to roll for damage.
5 piercing.
Because Irina's in a very weakened state at this point, she has less hit points than normal. Luckily, though, you have not killed her outright.
Leven is gonna let out a hissing sound and then lash out with an unarmed strike. It's so reflexive, and she's trying to almost balance over Irina, trying to carefully pull out her weapon, that it just whiffs.
Yikes.
That is Levin's turn.
And Alexander goes next. No, wait, no, we have Erasmus first. We have all of our vampires all in a row.
So Erasmus recognizes that Vincenzo's assets are in jeopardy, and so he is going to stealthily tail Maurer, but he's not going to engage until Maurer is engaged with the rest of the group.
Okay, so we will call that a holding action until you tell me otherwise. Is that okay?
Yep.
So, Alexander is next. And he says, oh, you're worried about this one, aren't you? And he's going to go ahead and he's going to take a couple of stabs at Irina. Now, here is what I'm going to allow. Any of the 3 of you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on this attack, with the consequence being that if he still hits, Alexander is going to hit you.
I think if it's okay with you, Josh, and Riley, I would say Leven do it because she's right over Irina.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
allow that for the first one. One of the other 2 is going to need to take the second. So, Leven, you are almost just fiercely like a guardian angel protecting Irina, as Alexander Derchenko hits you for 11 damage.
Okay.
For the second attack, Leven has taken 1 blow.
Bafuur can take the other one.
Okay, so Bafuur, you also step in the way as Leven is dived over, and Alexander hits you as well, and you get hit for a total of 9 damage. And with that, Alexander's going to call up the stairs, Lord Maurer, I have them here! To which you hear a chuckle as Lord Strefan Maurer proceeds to continue down the stairs. Just that slow, methodical, he has it all under control. Erasmus, you are tailing him, and you get to the point where you're just barely outside of the darkness, and you see as Strefan Maurer descends directly through the floor, as he appears immediately behind the party. And rather than attacking, Strefan Maurer looks at the 3 of you and Irina, and he just says, where is Bartholomew?
Oh, you missed him? He was above us.
Ah. And he ascends, going back up through the floor, and turns around and sees Erasmus dressed up as Bartholomew. There you are. That's his turn. Bafuur, it's up to you.
I'm going to go ahead and 2 more strikes, Grey Weapon Master at Alexander.
Okay, go for it.
So 1 was a 2, 1 was a 20.
Okay. So with the crit,
That is 30 points.
you cleave Alexander from shoulder to navel as he disappears into a cloud of dust ahead of you, his sword clattering onto the ground.
Yes!
Awesome.
Anything else? Do you want to run up the stairs?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and run up the stairs.
Okay. Suri, you're up next.
I think Suri will just take a quick check at Irina to make sure she's stabilized, and then she'll look up to Leven and say, as much as I may dislike him, we have to help Erasmus.
Leven scowls, but agrees.
After taking a look at Irina, she'll go ahead and she'll use her movement to follow Bafuur up the stairs.
Okay. Leven, it's currently your turn.
Honestly, she's gonna leave Irina there because at this point, she doesn't see Maurer hurting her. He's gone through so much trouble just to have her in the first place. So she's also gonna run upstairs, spear in hand again.
You pass Suri and Bafuur on your way up, and you are at the point where you can see this sphere of darkness that Bart's visage on Erasmus's face is peeking out of, and Strefan Maurer just standing there menacingly saying, "There you are."
Okay. I'm gonna actually... I will hold my action basically to make a defensive attack if Strefan decides to turn around and come back towards us.
Hey, sounds good. Erasmus, it's your turn.
Can Erasmus see Leven show up behind Strefan? Is he aware that she's there?
Yep.
Okay.
And that she has her spear at the ready in case he turns around and is coming at them.
He's going to glance very quickly in her direction to make eye contact, and then he's going to stand up from his hiding place to face Strefan Maurer. And in 2 quick motions, he is going to do 2 things. For his bonus action, he is going to cast Magic Weapon on his short sword, and then he is going to attack Lord Maurer while rubbing the ring to drop the disguise. And he's going to do this all without saying a single word to Maurer.
He looked initially pleased. There was a big old grin on his face as he saw you. And as you do this, there's a level of shock and surprise that is so satisfying for Erasmus. But that shock turns into this absolute scowl as he feels pain, physical pain, for the first time in who knows how long. His eyes go completely red, and staring down at you, he is going to go ahead and start wailing into Erasmus Kane. So that is a hit and a crit, as Strefan Maurer's fists come and just pummel into Erasmus. Oh, yikes. So the hit is 9 damage, the crit is 24 damage.
Erasmus staggers back under the force of the attacks, but he stays standing.
Where is he?
Dead!
No! Turns around. Where is he?
You heard him. He's dead.
With that, Bafuur, it is your turn.
As my action, I'm going to expend a charge on the holy symbol of Ravenkind, and I'm going to hold Vampire with a DC of 15.
DC 15.
Wisdom.
That's going to burn his first legendary resistance.
Alright,
Good.
we burned it. Bonus action,
Burning? Yeah.
I'm going to take a second wind.
What was that DC again?
15.
Okay, I passed.
Bonus action, I am going to take second wind. I'm just getting my dice here.
Good.
Alright, I regain 10 hit points. And that is my turn.
Okay. Suri, it's up to you. What are we doing?
Alright, Suri's, she'll run all the way up the rest of the way up the staircase, and if she can assess the situation fast enough, she will use another bonus action to cast her Form of Dread.
And interestingly enough, your father does appear. But he appears, and he's brought someone else with him.
Oh.
Instead of sticking around, the spirit of Bartholomew Avenant appears behind you.
What?
Skyler, are there any words of encouragement that Bart would give to Suri as he appears?
The ethereal form of Bart's spirit places a hand on Suri's shoulder, and this look of pride and love is on his face as he says, "I knew you could do it. Let's finish this."
Tearing up, Suri will just say, "Let's finish this." I cast another Eldritch, actually, she'll cast Wall of Light right where Strefan is.
Okay. Just right in where Strefan Maurer is. He needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Oh my goodness, his saves are being terrible. You guys are eating through these legendary resistances. That is legendary resistance number 2 down.
That's the idea.
Okay, so roll that 4d8. He's not blinded, but it is going to deal half damage.
So that'll be 16 radiant damage.
Okay, so down to 8. That is an excellent turn. Leven, it's you.
All right. So this very bright wall of light just popped up. Lovely. Would I still be able to stab Strefan, like, through it?
Yeah. It's only 5 feet wide, so you could get up to the engagement zone and stab into
Without
it.
entering.
Without getting
Okay.
into the wall.
Lovely. Okay. With my spear. Silvered spear. Bonk. Bonk. I don't even want to say.
Did you roll a 1?
Both of them in the roll were a crit 1.
Oh my gosh.
As you are attempting to stab in at Strefan Maurer, his hand reaches out and grabs at you. Luckily, you are quick enough to dodge out of the way, and it doesn't seem like this was a very well coordinated because he's, not fully blinded, but he's in the light.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I am going to spend a key point, though, and do 2 unarmed strikes with Flurry of Blows. The first one was a 22.
Okay.
I am going to use Stunning Strike on him with my last key point.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
So he has to be a DC 17 Constitution saving throw.
Legendary resistance number 3.
Yes. That's all I wanted. Frankly, I just wanted him to burn through another one.
Okay. Erasmus, it's you.
Alright, so he's going to, now that his allies have engaged, he's going to move into a flanking position on Strefan, and he's just going to go for another short sword attack at advantage. That's a miss, but he's going to attack again with his non-magical dagger as well. That's also a miss. So he just straight up misses all of his attacks.
Yep.
He is hurting.
You are hurting, and trying to stab into this wall of light is a little bit fun for you as well.
Yeah.
And Strefan Maurer, as it comes to his turn, you can see that all of the wounds that you've dealt up to this point thus far seem to mend themselves. Oh, he took radiant damage.
Mm-hmm.
The regeneration doesn't happen.
Let's go!
Yes!
I knew there was
It's almost as if these burns are holding him from that regenerative ability. And he says, "He must be here somewhere." And he's going to disengage, and he's going to go up and through the wall of the stairwell itself, in towards the center part of the castle.
So he didn't see Suri at all with Bart's ghostly visage behind her?
No. We're officially out of initiative. What do you guys want to do?
We definitely don't have a lot of time.
No. When Bafuur tried to use the medallion to hold Vampire, I imagine Erasmus is aware of the effect that he shook off, right?
Yes.
So he's going to call through the light to his comrades. He's going to say, Suri, can you cast this spell again? The light.
Not for the time being. I would need at least a little bit of rest. As long as it stays up, it can stay up for about 10 minutes.
But it doesn't move, correct?
No, I can sort of command it to... I can command it to launch at enemies or people, but it can't move in any other way.
We'd just go after him?
That's likely going to be our best bet at this point, even if we try to navigate this labyrinth of a castle to find what we're here for. He'll just follow us. We need to take him out if we want to accomplish our mission here. Do we have any idea where in the castle he may have just gone?
It sounded like he may have been searching for Bart.
Did Erasmus see Visage Bart before the spell got cast?
I think
Is he
so.
aware? Okay.
Oh yeah, he still would have been up for like a minute.
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay. We could move into the throne room and call for Maurer and tell him that Bart is here. Use him as bait, bring him in, and continue the attack there.
And it's at about this point that minute would be wrapping up for that dread visage.
Oh.
Are there any last words of encouragement that Bart has for Suri or for the rest of the group?
I think before he like fully disappears, Suri will try to get a hug in.
Regardless of if she can actually hug him or not, he does the motion of hugging around her. And he's going to look to her father and he's going to say, "You're in good hands, Suri. Remember to do good and to be good." And with that, he fades away.
She said, "I'll try my best."
As he fades away, he also casts a look at Bafuur and smiles.
So the current ideas that we have are using Bart as bait down in the throne room. Are there any other ideas that we have?
If we need a short rest, I have Tiny Hut, but yeah, I would have to ritual cast it, which is, as we've seen, is risky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know how well it will work, but I can try and disguise myself as Bart again. Is the light spell still up, separating me from the rest of the group?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Unless
go
you
through it
wanna-
without taking damage.
Oh,
You
okay.
just can't end your turn in it.
Okay, he's gonna like dart through it so he can rejoin the group, and he's gonna twist the ring again to turn back into Bartholomew, but this time he's gonna turn into a version of Bartholomew who's like battered and bloody and looks like he's been through heck and back, and to try and differentiate this version of Bart from the version that he was when Strefan saw him.
Okay.
Our best bet is to get Strefan to stay in a single place. He can obviously move through this castle with no limitations. So we need to do whatever we can to make sure he can't move long enough for us to do what needs to be done.
The other option could be, and this is just me spitballing here, guys could just go for the Otherworld Atlas. It seems as though you might have an opportunity to get at it before Strefan Maurer comes back for you.
Just make a run up and
Make a run as fast and as hard as you can, get through as much of the castle as you can, start eliminating places off that list.
Erasmus will pose that option as well. Say, alternatively, if we want to take our chances, I know where his study is now. I believe we can make it through the castle to the study and get the Atlas and leave.
What of Irina?
You know my answer to that question.
Huh.
Unfortunately for me, the Atlas isn't the only thing I was sent here to retrieve. So I'll do what you want to do, but I implore all of you to take the rational decision, aim for the Atlas, and leave. Had you never come here, this woman would have experienced the same fate. Your effect on this plane is not mandatory. You can't save everyone.
Leven, however unwilling she is, made a promise to Bart to protect the party, and she knows that the party's going to want to take care of Irina. So that, regardless of what happens, Irina can't just be abandoned.
So I guess the question then becomes, do you set up for a final stand somewhere close by, or do you take Irina with you as you are rucking and going as quick as you can through this castle?
My vote is the second one.
that's my vote as well.
Yeah.
Okay, what's everyone's strength score? This is going to help determine who can carry Irina the longest. I want
Not
strength
me.
and constitution, actually.
I have 14 in both.
Okay.
18 in strength, 13 in constitution.
I have a 15 strength, 16 constitution.
I have 10 strength and 15 constitution.
In terms of our best bet for prolonged, fast-moving, and carrying, it's going to be Erasmus in first place, with Leven in
Wow.
second place.
He's not gonna want to carry her.
Plus, I will say he is very hurt.
Mm-hmm. Leven will take her.
Okay. So, Leven, you pick up Irina, and we're going to start blowing through this castle. So,
Erasmus is going to lead since he has kind of a rough mental map of the direction we need to go.
okay. And heading in that, what direction do you think it needs to be?
Up. I know what I've been picturing is when he was out on the battlement. He was out on the battlement looking up at the tower. If there's a way into that tower from the battlement, that's the way he would take. I don't know if there is, but he's gonna...
You saw
He
that
wants
there
to
were
move-
windows, but those seem to be shut right now. Do we want to take a look and see if we can get into one of those?
Is there like a door onto the battlement from that particular spire?
So the spires are still about 80 feet above you. It seems
Okay.
like there's another floor here, and then the spires are up above it.
He's gonna... based on what he can see around us at any given moment, his goal is to move upwards in the direction of that spire. Whatever direction the immediate area around him implies that would be.
Okay. Leven, high or low?
Hi.
Irina wakes up as you're running along the battlement outside. You run 30, 40, 50 feet, hit the corner. You're running your way around, trying to find a way inside. And Irina wakes up. And
Okay.
as she does, she's like, wait a second, where are we?
Leven, one second. Sorry. Yeah. Leven mutters something out like under her breath. None of you can understand the language, but just the way it's said definitely was a curse. Tonation, an expletive, if you will. Looking at Irina, can I try to discern whether she's herself right now with another insight?
Yep.
I
that
presume
would be
at
an insight check.
disadvantage.
Because
we are moving around.
You are currently moving around, so it would be at disadvantage, unless you guys want to take the time, set her down, and give her a proper look.
Not really.
Okay, roll it at disadvantage.
One of them was a nat 20. That's fine. That is... It's still 17.
The intonation of her voice is enough to say that she's not under any level of compulsion right now.
And she asks, what are we doing? What's happening?
Where are we at?
We're on the battlements. Trying to make it to the study. Irina, do you know where the study is?
Yes. We're close. We're very close.
Direct us.
And you guys are running along the battlements. Do you want to set her down? Have her lead the group? Or just have her call directions from over your shoulder?
Call directions from over my shoulder. I don't really want to let go of her right now.
Okay. So you turn the corner. She's woken up. You have this little bit of conversation as you're running probably 100, 120 feet to the next corner. You turn around. You can see that there's a large entrance, a big old arch that is further ahead down this side of the castle. You're currently on the northern battlement. There's a similar sort of wall that has a gate underneath it that runs out to the curtain wall on the outside of the castle. And just past where that wall meets, there is a 40-foot wide, it looks like a pit that has a spiral stair leading up and around it. And up probably 30, 40, maybe even 50 feet up above you, you see something that strikes you as similar from the Moon Silver Temple. This spiral stair reminds you of the lightning helix, but the purpose seems to be different. Rather than arcs of electricity, this one seems to glow with a red and ominous power. Almost as though it's the beating heart of the castle itself. And Irina says, turn right. You guys want to just keep on running?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And turning to the right, there's a spiral that leads down, and she says, no, not that way, in. And there's a hallway that leads down. And you can see statues of various people, none of whom that you recognize. And as you are heading into this kind of statuary corridor, she says, turn left, there's a door. And sure enough, you turn, and just in the wall, there's a door that leads in. And another smaller hallway, probably 20 feet long. And a door at the far end of that. Running down, opening up that door, you look inside, and Strefan Maurer is tearing this place apart. He's going through all of the different bookcases and tearing various books off, flipping through them as much as he can. And in the center table, there are 4 different lecterns at the corners. which if the corners themselves are cut off to make room for these lecterns to have a reading space. And on the near side from you is a book that is floating in the air about 6 inches off of the lectern itself that flips its pages back and forth. Which, according to your guys' understanding, is the description that, not Nassius Van, Vincenzo Serac gave you for the Otherworld Atlas. With Strefan Maurer currently distracted, what would you like to do?
Doing a quick scan of the room. Sorry, I feel like I'm hogging the session. Is there anything anyone else would like to do?
I was going to say, does he see us enter the room yet?
It doesn't seem as though he is worried about other people coming in right now.
Once we get to a point where Erasmus can see into the room, he's going to drop concentration on magic weapon, and he's going to cast Detect Magic so that he can get a feel for every item in this room that might be magical.
There are a lot of different magical auras.
Okay.
At roughly this point, Strefan Maurer, he has gone through most of the bookcases at this point. And he says some sort of command word, and he passes through the fireplace. And you can see up above the fireplace, there's a full, sword display, but there's no blade on this sword. It's just the hilt, with a radiant gold... metal forming the hilt, and the crossguard being... It looks like a sunrise, if I'm being perfectly honest. With the two side rays that form along the horizon forming the crossguard.
I imagine my Detect Magic would be tripped by that sword.
It's picked up by the sword, it's picked up by the floating book, and there are a variety of other sort of magical books that are in here, none of which have any level that matches the floating book or that sword hilt.
Okay. Fake Bart's eyes have started glowing blue, and his vision is obviously darting all across this room. He's gonna say, "Floating book is what we're here for. That sword is incredibly magical," and then he'll point out a few other magical items. We're here. It's right there. What is your plan?
Let's grab the book.
So are we just grabbing the book and planeswalking away?
Can't planeswalk with Irina, can we?
Nope.
You can't bring Irina with you. If you want to complete your mission right away, you can grab the book and leave. But if you grab the book and don't planeswalk away, it is almost certain that Strefan Maurer will have a death hunt on you. He will be out for blood.
Was Erasmus informed of what the Atlas can do?
Only in the vaguest of terms.
So he knows that it can glean information on different planes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to step up to the book, and he's going to stop the pages from turning, and he's going to start manually turn the pages looking for anything about Innistrad and Maurer himself to see if the Atlas can tell us anything.
Okay. Now I need to go into a document that I've not opened up in a long while.
I will say, while Erasmus is doing that, Leven will look to the sword and then to her other two companions and make a meaningful head gesture towards it.
Is it up high on the wall?
Yes, it is above the fireplace.
So, taller than what Bafuur is?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Leven groans and just but more subdued, more Leven, and she will put down Irina and gesture for her to stay, and then go and try to basically run and jump up, trying to grab the sword down.
This is going to function like so the Otherworld Atlas is going to basically allow you to use the legend lore spell without any components and without needing to know the spell.
Okay.
We asked about the sword. I didn't fully hear what was going on with that.
Basically, Leven is going and trying to grab the sword down from over the fireplace. Probably by first taking a running jump, trying to land. Or even, you know what, just clambering up the fireplace. I'm assuming it's ornate and has plenty of, like, foot and handholds.
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah. She'll climb up on top of the mantle to grab down or as far up as she needs to grab down the sword. And she... What type of sword is it?
You don't know based off of the hilt alone, but it looks like it would be easily at least a hand and a half, probably a two-handed sword. Probably something on the larger end.
So not a short sword.
Not a short sword.
Okay. What I know about Bafuur and Suri, I think Leven would assume that Bafuur can handle a sword like this. So, wordlessly, she would just toss it to him. They're just like the straight, I guess, the crossguard and the hilt.
Okay. Josh, as the sword is handed to you, as your hand clasps around the hilt, you hear a voice inside of your head. Don't tell me that you're the fiend again. Are you an ally of his? I have been forced against my will more than once to do his bidding. It would bring me no greater pleasure than to end him by your hand if possible. And with that, Bafuur, you feel this almost compulsion to hold the sword up directly in front of you. And as you do so, there's a blade that forms as the light surrounding the area seems to coalesce into a glowing, divine, fiery blade. The Sun Sword is awoken, and we're bypassing the time requirement for attunement.
Very cool.
With that, with the Sun Sword joining, we have actually, in total, we have all three of those divine pieces that were called in with the portent given by Madame Ava. We do also have the Otherworld Atlas. So the question now becomes, where are we going from here?
Did the Atlas give any extra information on Maurer?
Unfortunately, it's not an instantaneous casting time. You've got to research this thing for 10 minutes in order for the legend lore to apply.
Okay, yeah, he's not going to do that.
So the book starts forming words, but it seems like this is not an instantaneous process, and so Erasmus, noticing this, closes the book, I presume, puts it in a sack.
And he'll slip it into his bag. We have what we came for. I suggest we leave.
Levin's gonna look to Irina. What's Irina doing?
It seems as though this, her waking up, she has been fighting against this influence for so long. And she's very weak right now. And you can see that she's fighting still for control. And she says, "You have what you came for, right?"
We do.
I noticed that Bart's not here. I'm going to assume the worst. I don't feel like I have a lot of time. I can distract Strefan Maurer for as long as I can. Go. Go.
Erasmus, when she says go, turns to the rest of the group and just looks at them expectantly. And I think he's gonna drop the Bartholomew imagery, so it's just him looking at the group expectantly.
You've got maybe another moment before he comes back. He's gone to his secret vault. He's going to be back.
About to fight.
Suri, what's your vote?
We promised Bart that Irina would be safe. Oh.
Yes, we did. And having that confirmed, Leven would vote to, however reluctantly, stay and fight.
And we'll see what that fight holds next time on Fireside Dice.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of Fireside Dice. This podcast is produced by Realms of Roleplaying. Intro and outro music was created by Alexander Nakarada of Serpent Sound Studios, and all other music and sound effects was created by Monument Studios. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please give our show an honest review on your podcast platform of choice. And for more behind-the-scenes content and updates for the show, follow us on Instagram at Fireside Dice Pod. We'll see you all in the next episode.
WWBD. Mm-hmm. And
What would
that's where
Bafuur
we're
do?
at.
He would think of bacon.
Yeah, what would Bafuur do? Smash Alexander in the face.
That was the plan.